What is that?
So I bought a girl's cart. I've had my eye on this go-kart ever since I started working at DKC in high school. I saw it sitting up in the rafters and it never ran. Nobody ever got it out and drove it. And I was like, man, someday I want to have that cart. And then Mike Jones offered up to a great deal and I just couldn't say no.
We're gonna get a new sticker kit maybe in the future?
Yeah, sticker kit's on the way, but you know, I kind of like it. It's nostalgic. This cart ran a lot of races back in the day with this sticker kit. So, I don't know.
It's certainly a very unique sticker kit. I think you should keep it. This is pretty cool. No one else has one like this.
Hey everyone, welcome to Illegal Alien Racing. In the last video, you rode along as I completed the very first session of the year after not having driven my cart for about 2 months. So in this video, I'm going to show you what the rest of the day was like. I'm going to show you clips of sessions 2, 3, and 4. You're going to see a couple of different kart classes on track. Also, you're going to see a couple of different types of drivers. You're going to see club racers, you're going to see some newer karters, and you're going to see some recreational karters, which are karters that they don't want to race, they just enjoy coming out and driving laps in their cart. I'm also going to show you a little bit later some new track construction out at Dallas Karting Complex. They're going to eventually have 2 new tracks. One of the tracks is currently under construction, and I'm going to show you what that looks like so you can get an idea of what is coming. All right, shout out time. What's up to So Karting, Dana Gibbons, Blake Finley, Ethan Palash, Terrier 53, and big shout out to Motopilot. I've been talking to Motopilot a little bit. He is a YouTuber. He has a big YouTube channel, and he rides motorcycles, builds motorcycles, but he's recently purchased a shifter cart, and he doesn't have any karting experience prior, so he's released a couple of videos talking about his experience. So I think you should go, it's probably a good idea to go check him out, Motopilot, and see what his perspective is on karting, and especially the learning curve with driving something like a shifter. It's pretty interesting to hear what he has to say on that. All right, so we're early in the session, and right here in the apex we have someone in a really bad spot, and unfortunately it is Colton. So we're going to jump in Colton's cart and see what happened. So he's coming out of the pits, just warming things up with his brand new tires. Look at those tires, they look really good. Listen to the little blip in the throttle and watch what happens. Goes right around. Again, he's in a really bad, dangerous spot here. Cart is in gear and it will not push forward if you just try to push it. It's really hard. So he grabs the clutch right there. Cart rolls freely, gets it off the track into a safe spot. Now watch how much trouble he has getting it into neutral, which I can relate to. Sometimes it's hard to get a shifter cart into neutral, which is in between first and second gear. Imagine trying to do this where he was on track with cart zooming past you. So smartly grabbed the clutch, got the cart into a safe position, and he will eventually get the cart restarted and back into the session. Good job, Colton. All right, back into the seat with me, and that is a shifter cart driver in front of me. I would guess that he's a little bit newer. I don't remember him. And just given that I am able to hang with him in the turns like I am, it just seems like he's a little bit newer. Now on the straights, you can see the cart, the shifter cart just pull away. It's a 125cc cart with 6 gears. Mine's a 100cc cart with no gears. Now I've had a shifter cart before, and when you're driving one, especially when you're trying to figure it out, there's a lot going on. Those carts accelerate extremely quickly, and they slow down extremely quickly. So it's just a lot to figure out. Versus like my cart, it doesn't accelerate as quickly or slow down as quickly. So it's easier to be smoother, quicker. So right there, almost running to the back of him, and he just pulls away in the shifter cart. Now we're riding on board with Justin, and entering screen left right now is Roger. Roger is a shifter driver, but Roger is a 68-year-old shifter driver. Roger's been driving, I think he's been karting for about 2 months now, or I'm sorry, 2 years, give or take. And I need to make a whole video just dedicated to Roger. If you think that you are too old to get started in karting, use Roger as your example. 68 years old, and he's driving a shifter cart. Check that out. All right, and here's Colton getting some quality B-roll footage for us. Thank you, Colton, for your video contributions. All right, we're still in the session 2, and I pulled off track to try to link up with Justin, and here he is passing me. Kind of mistimed it a little bit. Took me a few laps to catch up to him. Eventually I do catch up to him. But we do have a lot of different karters on track with different experience levels, so we do have to work our way around traffic here and there. All right, we're beginning session 3. And here at the end of the straight, we're going about 64, 65 miles an hour. There is a right to left crosswind that's pretty strong, so it can kind of move your helmet around a little bit. So if you're a rental kart racer and you're thinking about coming over to this side of it, highly recommend it. I like bringing you these types of videos because you can kind of see what it's like when you're not racing, kind of just the work part of it as far as the practicing part of it. And these karts handle way better than a rental kart racer, and it could be pretty surprised in a good way what you can do with these karts. Here Justin's following another driver. It's going to attempt to pass a slower driver in front of him, and I want you to watch what happens. So right there, he looks to the inside, he's going to go for it, and then the door gets shut on him right there, almost gets into an accident, but he's able to slow down enough and get out of it, which is good. You got to be really careful at times because you can find yourself in a bad situation, and it happens again here. He's going to look to the inside, and then he's going to go for the pass, but he's not sure if the person's going to turn down on him or keep their line. And he briefly locks it up and almost spins out there. Now Justin here is in relatively the same situation, but it's open right there, but he just keeps his distance a little bit, and he's not familiar with this driver, doesn't know his tendencies, doesn't know if the driver's going to see him, doesn't know if he's going to turn down on him, doesn't know anything. So it's better just to kind of hang back and let's just pass him on the straightaway like we do here. So I think Justin and I share the same thought process during practice. Is we don't usually take unnecessary risk, because if you do and you're wrong, you can get into an accident which will break or bend parts on your kart and someone else's kart, which just ends up costing both of you money. And again, this is a non-competitive situation. There's really no point in it. There's no reward for going for a risky move, especially in a practice situation. So right here, I'm just going to hang out behind Justin. I'm under team orders not to pass him, under Haas team orders. Now, if you're not a Formula One fan, you're like, what in the world is Haas? In Formula One, there are 10 racing teams, and each team has 2 drivers. Haas is Haas is the worst team in Formula One as far as results go. They finished last place pretty much every race. If you're not familiar with the series on Netflix called Drive to Survive, I highly recommend checking that out. It's all about Formula One and documents the different seasons, and you get to learn tons about it. All I'll say beyond that is I know people that do not care about racing, much less care about Formula One. They started watching Drive to Survive. They have now become Formula One fans and are very in tune with what's going on. The series is that good, and I promise you won't be disappointed if you check it out. Drive to Survive on Netflix, and I was not paid for that plug. Justin needs a new engine rebuild. You can see I can just close up on him pretty fast. He's going to get a new rebuild here pretty soon, so that should definitely help with the power on his engine. Now you see that little camera up in front of my nose? We're going to switch that camera angle for one lap and take you around. I'm going to stay close to Justin. So check this out. Back in the cart. I really like that camera angle. I think it looks really good, especially if you can stay close to the driver in front of you. A little traffic here. That's a shifter driver. He's taking a break. I'm sure it's, again, very tiring to drive a shifter cart. I remember getting after it for a few laps and having to kind of hang out and slow down to catch my breath. They're actually very physical carts to drive if you've never driven one. Got to be careful with the DD2 driver there in the blue. Another driver in a bad situation. That is not Colton this time. I want you to watch what happens here in just a few turns. We've got a driver we're not as familiar with, and we have different braking points. And this is what can happen when you mistime things. Watch this. Justin checks up. I get into the back of Justin, and he gets right back into the DD2 driver. Nothing happened beyond that, so it's all good. We're on board with Justin. Now right here, I'm about to come off track. I want you to watch my right hand. It goes up in the air right there. I'm letting Justin know that I'm going to slow down. Now actually don't slow down, just let him know. And then right here, I put my hand up in the air one more time and pull off track. So if you're going to slow down on track, you probably want to do that prior to actually slowing down to give a warning to the other driver. All right. This is the new track construction out at Dallas Karting Complex. They're going to eventually build two tracks, a north track and a south track. This is a north track construction right now, what it looks like. I believe this is going to be the rental track. There's some elevation change on it. You can see how wide the track is. So looking forward to that getting built. This is the cool part. This is where you're going to be able to combine the north and south track together to make one big super track. So I don't know how long it's going to be once it's all built, but it's going to be pretty long. I have no idea when the construction is going to be completed. So your guess is as good as mine. We're just going to have to hang out and wait until it gets done. Can't wait for that to be finished so I can bring you that footage. All right, final session of the day. Tires are a little cool, so you got to be careful. This driver goes around. I've done that before and I've seen it happen as well. Okay, we're back with Justin. That is me right there in front of Justin, and we're slowing down to try to let Gary catch up. There's Gary in the orange. So we can all run together, given we all run 100cc karts. We want to practice together. And I like running with Gary. Gary's faster than I am, and it's good because he can push me to try to get even better. I mean, I still have a long ways to go. So I think for my development as a driver, it's important to race against and practice with people like Gary, because you can just learn from them. They can give you advice. You can watch them on the track. And Gary's a super nice guy, and he's a very clean driver, and I'm very comfortable racing with him. Don't have to worry about him too much. So I think it's good. And right here, I kind of like being able to see myself on track, so I can watch, where I turn in at versus just from my perspective in the kart. It's just a different viewpoint. So when I saw this footage for the first time, it's kind of interesting to watch. Just kind of how I take some of the lines around the track. There's a little bit of traffic here, a couple of karters. Unfortunately, Justin gets caught behind. It is Colton actually. Gets caught behind Colton just for a little bit and we get separated. So we're gonna fast forward. I am behind Gary now, Justin's behind me somewhere. Now what happens here is sometimes we get caught behind a cart that's capable of going faster on the straights than we are. So like this is a shifter cart, I believe, in front of Gary. And as hard as Gary works to get around them on the straightaway, the shifter cart's just going to pull away. If Gary passes him, the shifter cart's just going to pass him right back on the straight. So at times it can be frustrating when you come up on another driver that may not be as fast as you, but it's in a faster cart, so they can get you on the straightaway. So the best thing to do from our point of view is to probably slow down and just let the gap, just create a gap so we can start running laps again and not kind of get held up. And you see Gary's kind of a little bit frustrated. Nothing personal, he just wants to do some work. So he puts his hand up in the air, lets me know that he's going to slow down and create that gap we were talking about. I'm going to get next to him, a couple of hand signal exchanges, let him know, let's bring it down. I'm trying to wait for Justin. I'm also looking for some other karters, don't want to get in their way. They're faster than us. And right there, give him the signal. Okay, let's pick it up all the way. I think there's enough space now. We can get a couple of good laps in. So we pick it up. Now I'm coming up on a little bit of a slower driver, and we're gonna have to get around him. It's kind of the problem with having a smaller track than before. It's about half as big as it used to be. There I'm giving him the signal like, hey, I'm gonna slow down and just take my time. There's another shifter carter. Again, I think resting. Those shifter carters, I'm telling you, if you've driven one, you know what I'm talking about, how tiring they can be. This driver's a lot lighter than me. Right there, almost get into the side of him. Just a little bit of a bobble on his part, and easily could have got got on top of his wheel and into the side of him. Luckily, that didn't happen. All right, so I'm behind Justin. I'm actually going to defy team orders here in a little bit. Next lap, and I'm going to pass him and get in front of him. Other driver gets out of our way here, and this is so much fun just pacing with another driver. I've said it before, but it's tons of fun. I really enjoy doing this. And I use my DRS here. Go right around Justin. And we're going to switch camera angles. And again, this is cool to see from my perspective. Justin's now behind me, so I get to watch myself on track and kind of see what lines I take. So I find it pretty useful to look at this footage and kind of review it. I need to get my helmet painted. It would look a lot cooler than just the white. I'm trying to figure out what design and kind of what color scheme. If you have any ideas, definitely leave a comment. I'm open for suggestions. So here, Justin's kart's slower than mine on the straights, but he's able to hang with me. I don't know if it's because he can draft or I just don't know. But on the turns, he's doing a good job. It always seems easier to catch somebody than to lead. Put the one more lap to go, so we've got one more lap for the day. We're going to bring it in, pack everything up, and go home and enjoy the rest of our evening. So if you have any questions about anything karting related, drop a comment below, let me know. If you've hung out this long in the video, I definitely appreciate it, that you were along the whole time. I'm going to bring it in. That is, I think, Roger, yeah, right in front of us. And that was the first practice day of the year. Looking forward to bringing you guys some more videos. As always, I appreciate the support. Like the video if you do like it. If you don't, that's okay. But it does help people see the video more if you do interact with it, so I'd appreciate any help there. And as always, again, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Y'all take it easy.